Hello, my name is John Sayer, Technical Marketing Manager, Civil Infrastructure here at Autodesk. Today I would like to take you through a workflow using the Infrastructure Design Suite. The goal for today is to take my design roadway that is in Autodesk AutoCAD Civil 3D and place a bridge in the model using the Bridge module inside of Autodesk AutoCAD Civil 3D. Then we will display the solids that represent our bridge in our roadway cross sections that we generated. So let's get started. To give you a bit of background about this project, we have been tasked to add a bridge at a creek crossing location along our design roadway. We will use the Bridge module in Autodesk AutoCAD Civil 3D to generate our proposed bridge and then create roadway cross sections and add the bridge solids created by the Bridge module to represent the bridge in our section views to help us make design decisions. So let's zoom into our creek crossing location and let's add our bridge into the model. We're going to select our Bridge Modeler tab in our ribbon. We're going to start off with a bridge concrete slab with girders. We'll leave everything default here in the dialog except for the location of the region that we want to apply the bridge to. So we're going to select that second region and hit OK. So in the bridge definition dialog box, to start, we're going to leave everything default, and then we'll come back and we'll add changes later on. We're going to add a pier. We're going to change maybe the girder type, change some things to the abutments, but for now we're going to just start off by just selecting the defaults. And as you can see, the bridge module will create all of the bridge objects so that you can see them inside of Civil 3D. I'll select the bridge here and look at it in the object viewer so that you can see that it creates a very high resolution 3D bridge. All right, we can see the concrete girders, we can see the different piers and the abutments very clearly. So let's make some changes to the bridge. We want to add a pier here in the center and move the other two piers that generated initially over just a little so that we can try and evenly space them. So I'm going to select Bridge Concrete Slab with Girders and select Edit Bridge this time and select my bridge object. Our bridge definition dialog box comes up again and we can start to change any of the data options that you see here. So we can change some things with decks, our roadways, the barriers along the edge of the bridge, the girder sets, the girder type, and then jump down to substructures for the abutments, the piers, and the bearings. So let's go back to our bridge layout and let's add a pier. So we simply select Add, and it's going to add the pier. The piers are represented by the green line here in our grid view. So I can see that this pier needs to move back stationing wise. So I'm gonna start off at the beginning and try and evenly space them. So I'll move the first pier back to station 240. Then I'll move the second pier to station 300. And then I like the spacing that's shown here for that pier. So if I didn't, I could simply select a different station and it would be represented at the actual position that I wanted. So we'll say station 340 and it moves it. We'll go ahead and move this first one here back just a little, maybe to station 260. So I have my piers, the correct locations that I want design-wise. So let's go ahead and change the girder type from a concrete girder to a steel girder. And we'll go ahead and change our height type here to a fixed angle linear segment height type. I'll go ahead and select OK. And the bridge module is going to recreate all of the bridge objects representing this bridge so that it will reflect our design changes. So you can see that it added our pier and they're at the exact location as we set them inside of the dialog box. So if I look at this in Object Viewer again, I can see again that it added my pier. It also made my girders steel girders instead of concrete. So they're represented differently. They look different than they did when they were concrete girders. So the design engineer has come back and said, well, we need to widen the bridge deck now. Okay, so we've done a lot of work. So inside of Civil 3D, all we need to do is just adjust our assembly, and we can adjust the bridge width. So I'm going to select my bridge deck assembly, and I'm going to go to the properties, and I'm going to change the width of the deck to, instead of 14 feet, we'll change it to 16 feet. So we're going to add 2 feet to either side. So it's updated my assembly. I'm going to zoom in here so that you can see, and I'm going to update my corridor. So the width of my bridge deck has gotten wider by 2 feet on each side of the bridge. So now, in order to get the bridge to update, I simply go back and edit the bridge and just hit OK. And it'll rebuild the bridge and widen the bridge deck according to the assembly that we widened. So now that we made adjustments to our bridge, our deck width, we've added some piers. I'd like for them to be represented inside of a roadway cross section. So I'm going to go up and I'm going to create some sample lines. I'll go ahead and hit OK. I'm just going to create them by a range of stations. We'll go every 25 feet per tangents and curves, and it automatically places them where I've told it. Now I'm going to have it cut some extra sections, so I'm going to have it cut one here at this pier, and I'll have it cut one here at this abutment. I'm holding the same swath width that I picked for the other sections. And I'll just make sure that I get a section view or a section cut at each piece of the bridge. So it's cut my sections. Now I need to place them in the drawing. So I'm going to go up and I'm going to tell it to create multiple views. Right now we're only concerned with the station range of 200 to 400. That's where our bridge is represented inside of our roadway model. So I'll hit next. I'm going to place these in draft placement option, so that we can start to look at it and see if we need to make design changes. I'll select create section views, pick inside my model, and they show up. So now I want to see a representation of my bridge inside of my section views. So I'm going to go up to the home tab of my ribbon. I'm going to go back to section views, and I'm going to select project objects to multiple section views. The only thing I want to see here is my solid, so I'm going to deselect everything else, and I'm going to change my style for my solids to a sliced solid. And I'll select OK. Now Civil 3D will now project that bridge onto our cross-section views. Now that our cross-section views have been populated with our bridge, let's take a look. So we can zoom in, and we can definitely see a lot more detail than if we were trying to do this by hand. You can see the bridge girders, you can see the piers, you can see the road deck. So if we look down here at station 3+86, you can see that there's actually super elevation on the bridge, and it accurately represents that. So as you can see, in 10 to 15 minutes, we were able to create our bridge model in Autodesk AutoCAD Civil 3D, make multiple design changes, and then populate our roadway cross sections with solids reflecting our design bridge. I thank you for taking the time today to watch this presentation and hope you have a great day.